So if you have been thinking of replacing the bicycle tires on your kid's bike or your own bicycle, let me show you how easy it is to do. Whoa, 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 whoa. So let me show you how easy it is to replace the tires and tubes. With most tires you can see visual cracks and you'll know it needs replaced. In my case, with no air in the tire, I'm able to give the tire a squeeze and you could see that it had fairly good cracks between the treads. So if you don't see any cracks in the tread, make sure you give the sidewalls a good inspection to see if there's any cracks there. Once you know if you need 1 or 2 tires, just rotate the tire around until you find the tire size. Every bicycle tire has the size written right on the side of the sidewall. And in my case, it's a 700 by 38C. And if you're ever wondering what you should inflate the tire pressure to, the tire pressure is printed on every sidewall of every bicycle tire. And you can see that the tire pressure for the tire on my bike is 50 to 75 psi. It's the same as any vehicle tire. The size and the pressure is printed on the sidewall of every tire. And if you do need tires and tubes and you're going to shop around, be sure to check out your local bicycle shop. I looked at a bunch on Amazon and I found that Amazon was overpriced. And when I checked my local bicycle shop, I found that the prices were about 40% less than Amazon. So do shop around first to save money. So at this point, you could take the bike and flip it over onto its handlebars and just take the wheels off then. But some bikes have got lights, mirrors, and other things that can get in the way. And on my bike, I've got the bell sticking out. So let me show you another method, and it makes it much easier to work on. So grab any kind of rope that's about 1/4 inch in diameter. And then at the end, tie a loop. And make the loop 10 inches long. And then make the part after the loop about 3.5 feet long. Make 2 of these are for the handlebars. And then make one that's bigger, this one's for the seat. Make the loop on this one 16 inches. And then the part after the loop, make it 4.5 feet. At your local hardware store, they'll have these larger washers. They're called fender washers, and these ones are 1/4 inch. And they'll fit a screw in the center quite nicely. These washers work really well for this because you're able to put the rope underneath them and then you can slide and pull it to adjust the length. Now if you go to your workshop or your garage and you look at the ceiling joists, you'll notice that they are 16 inches apart. And you want to use 2 of these joists, and 2 times 16 is 32 inches apart. In the first joist, put a screw and a washer in, and then another one 18 inches apart. And now take your third screw and washer, and in your second joist 32 inches away, place it in the center of the first 2. And don't worry, it doesn't have to be exact. Now take the first 2 ropes that you made for the handlebars, put them under the washers, and adjust them so that they're 60 inches off the floor. Take your last one for the seat and adjust it to 45 inches off the floor. And just remember the height that I gave you off the floor is just a good general guideline. Using those big washers, it's very easy to adjust it to any height that you like. And once you have it hanging like this, it's not only for changing your tires, you can also check your derailleur, you can make adjustments, you can check your brakes and adjust those, and check your front derailleur to make sure it's working properly. And with it hanging like this, you can pull and tug on it and it's not going to fall over on you. So let's get started and we'll replace the front tire first. So first we need to release the front brakes, open them up so that we can drop the tire down between the brake pads. There are 2 ways that you can do this. You can just pull this little boot back, squeeze the brakes together and pull the cable out. Or at the front brake handle, you can release it there. You'll notice that all 3 of these parts have slots in them. What you want to do is rotate them until all 3 of them line up. And now just pull the brakes on with the handle, and when you release it, pull the cable at the same time. Most full-size bikes today will have this lever right here. It's called a quick release lever. Or if it's an older bike or a kid's bike, you'll use an adjustable wrench to remove the nuts. So all you do is pull the lever until it's out 90 degrees. So most bikes with a quick release lever have a secondary safety. This prevents the wheel from falling off if that quick release lever becomes undone. So go to the other side of the wheel, and while holding the lever on the other side, turn the knob until the wheel drops out. And you can see once the wheel's off that they've got this little step on the fork to prevent the wheel from falling off. That's the secondary safety. So at this point you can choose to do the next part on a table, or you can just as easily do it on the floor. So if there's any air in the tire, go ahead and deflate it. So the one thing you're going to want to get is a set of these tire spoons. They're made out of plastic, they won't hurt your rims, and if you ever need to do a tube repair, it won't pinch the tube as you're taking it out and create another hole. They're very handy and compact, and they stack on top of each other. And if you want a set of these, I'll have them linked in the description under the video. Some people do use screwdrivers, but they will damage the rim and can pinch the tube, like I said, when you're taking it apart. Start by taking one of the spoons, and in front of one of the spokes, just squeeze the tire down a little bit and put the spoon in behind and pry it back. And then it's got a neat little spot here that you can just hook it on the spoke. This prevents the spoon from flipping out as you put the other ones in. And now just repeat the process with the next two spoons. And in a lot of cases, once you've got the second spoon in, you can start to pull the tire off with your hand manually. And now, opposite the tire valve, take the tire and pull it up a bit and reach in and pull the tube out. Now just pull up on the tire a bit, push the valve stem in, and pull the tube out. And now stand the wheel and tire up, and you should be able to grab the tire and pull it right off of the rim very easily. At this point, you want to rotate the wheel around and look for corrosion or rust. If there is any, use a wire brush to clean it up. If this rubber piece is damaged, replace it too. This is what protects the tube from the spoke nipple. And now we'll do it in reverse and take one side of the tire and slip it back over the rim. The tube can be a little awkward to work with when it's flat like this, so you want to put a little bit of air in it. If you don't have one, these little pumps are great. They come with a little bracket to put on your frame so it's on your bike all the time. I'll also have this linked in the description under the video. Now lay the tube over the tire, aligning the valve with the hole. Then pull the tire back and put the valve stem in the hole. Then pull the tire back over the tube. Then continue to go around and push the tube into the tire. And now we just want to get the last side of the tire on. I usually start about 6 inches before the valve. And now just go around and use your thumbs to pry the tire on. A lot of times when you get to this point, you can do the whole job with your thumbs only. But if it's a little too tight, just use the spoon again to pry the tire right over the rim. Another good tool is one of these inexpensive tire gauges. I've had this for about 5 years and is great for my bikes and the car. And it has 4 different units of measurement. I'll also have it linked in the description. Spin your thumb nut back on and then try your quick release. And if it's too loose, give it a half turn at a time and try it again. Once it's tightened down, give the wheel a spin and test the front brakes to make sure nothing's dragging and everything is working okay. So the back wheel is just as easy to do as the front. Before you start, it's best if the chain is on the smallest gear. This is why hanging the bike is so good. You can very easily shift it through the gears to the smallest sprocket. Release the rear brakes just like you did on the front. And depending on how oily your chain is, at this point you may want to use gloves. Release the quick release. Undo the thumb knob a bit on the other side. Now it'll just drop down and then help the chain off the sprocket and help it to get around the chain at the bottom. And just so you know, this part of the derailleur has a spring in it, and this is what keeps the tension on the chain. So as you put it back, get it past the lower part of the chain, past the axle, and then take a little bit of the tension off of the derailleur and slip it onto the first sprocket. And it'll take a little bit of wiggling around to get it into the two slots, but it's not that hard to do. And once it's in, you can tighten up that thumb knob. And then once you have the quick release adjusted and you engage it, make sure that it's pointing backwards. If you have the lever pointing forward, then any debris or a branch or anything could catch it and loosen the wheel off and cause you to have a bit of an accident. It's always a best practice to have it pointing backwards. And like we did with the front, give it a test spin to make sure it's spinning properly and that the brakes are working and that it's shifting properly. So once you're finished and you test out the brakes and you find that they need adjustment like the ones on my bike do, they're very easy to adjust. You can see as I pull these in normally, plus a bit more, I'm right up against the handle grip. They need adjusting. The adjuster for it is right here and it easily turns by hand. That first smaller ring holds the adjuster in place. You just want to undo it a little bit and then you can adjust the other one. Now just turn the small one counterclockwise and it'll adjust the brakes and make them tighter. You want to adjust it so that your brakes apply nicely at about the halfway point. Once you're there, thread the smaller ring in and tighten it down to keep it in place. My front brake is the same and it almost touches the handle grip. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, subscribe, and hit the bell to get notifications, and we'll see you next time.